seconds and counting.
Hey, what's good, guys? It's Clifton Entertainment here, back with another video. And for today's video, we're going to be talking about the Houston Texans. And for today's video, we're going to be talking about Patrick Queen, linebacker out of for the Baltimore Ravens, out of LSU. And there's been rumors that he may hit free agency or that they may even look for a trade for Patrick Queen. They did decline his fifth-year option, so he's scheduled to be a free agent next year, bearing any contract discussions. The Ravens were also rumored to want to offer him a contract based on how the season goes, but there hasn't been anything concrete on that. It's still a wait-and-see type of thing. So I'm just going to assume that he will hit free agency next year. So assuming he does hit free agency next year, he has liked a numerous amount of tweets about the Texans, and he's been flirting back and forth with Derek Stingley on Twitter, like, oh, hey, something Texans, blah, 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 this Texans, or reuniting in Houston or something like that. And they've been flirting back and forth. So there does seem to be some common interest between Patrick Queen and the Houston Texans. Whether the Houston Texans like him or not, that's yet to be determined or seen. How he would fit in this Texans defense, that's also yet to be determined or seen. I would assume he just plays that middle linebacker role. I'm not really sure how we would use him. We still need to figure out how they're gonna definitely use Christian Harris and Henry To'oTo'o. So adding Patrick Queen into this defense, I'm not sure how he would fit. He's still a young 23-year-old football player. That's pretty young to be drafted in 2020, and he's still 23 years old. That means he was drafted at 20 years old? So yeah, he was drafted very, very young. So he's a very, very smart guy. He comes from LSU. He has chemistry with Derek Stingley. Good friends with Derek Stingley. Coming onto this Texans team, the defense is full of youth everywhere. We have youth at safety with Jalen Petrie. We have youth at cornerback with Derek Stingley Jr. We have youth everywhere. We have building blocks around this team that are fairly young, pretty young, all under the age of 23. And adding a guy who's 23 and Patrick Queen, he can be a part of that next phase in the rebuild. He can be a guy that can come in here, be our middle linebacker, command that respect, be a part of that linebacker role with Christian Harris and Henry To'oTo'o. However that's going to fit on this team, again, that's yet to be determined. I'm not sure how DeMeco Ryan is going to use any of those guys, but just adding talent should be the main focus here, and adding a talented guy who's still 23, going to be 24 soon, to the Texans team, I feel like that's a no-brainer. The type of contract he'd want, I'm not sure. I don't think we would give him anything major. If anything, I think it would just be another one, maybe a 2-year deal, maybe in the ranges of like $7-8 million, maybe something like that. I think he would be worth it. He hasn't had the best of starts to his career with Baltimore, but he is still a very talented player. He does have his highlight moments here and there. He does make big-time plays here and there. While, yes, I don't think he's the best in pass coverage, he can, I guess, hold his own at times, but when he's going against like a running back or a faster, shiftier slot receiver, he will let down at times. He's only 6 foot, so he's a little bit smaller. I mean, not the smallest of guys, but he's compared to like Isaiah Simmons, who's 6'4", and then Patrick Queen, who's 6 foot. That's a pretty big height differential, but it shouldn't matter too much. I mean, he will be asked to play the middle of the field at times, so I guess it kind of does matter in that sense. If you're playing like zone coverage, you have to play the middle of the field, cover that middle zone, and you have to jump up, try to tip that ball, or just try to get your hands up, deflect that ball. I feel like Isaiah Simmons would be much better at filling that role, especially with the speed and size, 6'4", 4.38, compared to Patrick Queen's 6 foot. I think he ran like a 4.4 or 4.5. So he's not the slowest, but he's still not the fastest either. But in terms of run stuffing, I think that's his specialty. From what I've seen Baltimore Ravens fans say, he did have 117 total tackles this past season. So I think that would have led our team. Outside of Jalen Petrie, who had 143 total tackles, I think Patrick Queen would have come in second. I don't think any other player had over 100 tackles for us, and if they did, then I would be surprised at that. But he would have been second on total tackles for the Texans last season if he was on this defense with 117 total tackles. He did have 5 sacks, so he has shown the ability to be able to rush the passer, which is also pretty interesting. Maybe we want to put him like in different unique blitzes, whatever DeMeco Ryans and the defense coordinator wants to scheme up, and we can put him in different blitzes and stuff like that. But yeah, what do you guys think about potentially adding Patrick Queen? He does have chemistry with Derek Stingley. He is good friends with Derek Stingley. He's an SEC type of player, or he is an SEC player from LSU. We all know Nick Caserio loves his SEC players. He would form a SEC defense with Will Anderson, Derek Stingley Jr., and then Henry To'oTo'o, Christian Harris, and then now Patrick Queen. So most of our defense would be filled with SEC players. I think more than half of it, or at least half of it. So that would also be another thing that's kind of like, I guess, cool to see, and then kind of like, I mean, not but SEC players are very talented. They come from a tough division in college football. But it is kind of like, I mean, that's a lot of SEC players. But yeah, it would be interesting to see how he fits on this team. I think personally, I would still prefer Isaiah Simmons. He's 1 year older than Patrick Queen, but he is faster, he is bigger, and he has more of what I would like from a linebacker in terms of how we would use him, or at least how I would think we use him. I want him to be more pass coverage oriented, more than run stuffing oriented. I feel like that's more valuable in this defense. Our defensive linemen should be able to create enough push for Christian Harris or Henry To'oTo'o or whoever to be able to get downfield and try to stop the run, and for the other linebacker to be able to mainly focus on the passing downs. But yeah, who would y'all guys prefer? Let me know down below in the comments. Patrick Queen or Isaiah Simmons? Let me know down below in the comments. But it's been Clutch City Entertainment, and I hope you guys have a good day. Peace.